Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm Dr. Leviathan.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories most creepy and most pasta. So remember, when you wish upon a star, tonight's Room Zero with a capital R. Oh God!
We're not doing a musical episode.
Oh, I don't plan on it. But that's all I had.
You still deserve that.
But yes, tonight's episode is Room Zero.
Why are we friends?
I don't know.
Why do you still continue to involve me in your schemes?
Because everybody needs a straight man. But yes, so for those of you who don't know what creepypasta are, go Google it, but effectively it's creepy internet campfire stories. So, with that out of the way, the rundown for Room Zero, which is a sequel to Abandoned by Disney, the creepypasta we did by Slime Beast.
So, if you want to know, if you want a little preview of what you're in for, go check that out.
Yeah, go check that episode. This one has the same narrator from the previous story. It's been a little while since the last one.
Well, this one's credited to Slime Beast as well. So,
yeah. It's been a bit. It's been a while since the last encounter.
I don't know if we've had that happen before.
Anywho,
yeah.
Go. And the guy is being. The reason why he hasn't responded or talked to anybody on his blog or on his whatever the video, whatever the story is trying to get across as his posting medium. He hasn't done so because he's been. He feels like he's being stalked. He's paranoid that the Disney Corporation is trying to keep things under wraps about the Mowgli Palace, which is from Abandoned by Disney, and he starts getting. He has been talking though to other people who have had strange encounters with, being stalked by Disney. And it's not so much the Disney Corporation, it seems, as it's just like some weird supernatural or just underground element of the Disney Corporation that's just leaving him Mickey Mouse memorabilia and
Disney
weird
memorabilia things. And specifically
Mickey Mouse.
Arranging the Mickey Mouse silhouette that we're all familiar. It's basically Disney's stamp.
Yeah.
And honestly, most of it's just contrived as shit.
Yeah, there's a couple of most of them I kind of just
Although
okay,
the one
he's
that
just
would
getting
freak
paranoid.
the piss out of me is the coffee cup rings.
Yeah.
Here's why. It's one big and two small, right?
Where are the other?
All of my coffee cups are the same fucking size.
That's true.
Even if they are different, they're roughly the same size.
So why are they smaller?
Exactly.
Yeah, some of them
that doesn't scare the piss out of me for the reason that you're thinking.
No, it
scares the piss out of me. Why someone have such ridiculously different sized coffee cups?
Well, somebody drinks espresso, somebody drinks normal coffee. Espresso cups are pretty small.
That's not coffee, man. That's a different thing.
Oh.
It's different altogether.
All right, fair enough.
Also, an espresso cup is way too fucking small to do Mickey's ear.
Yeah.
Also, way too small to enjoy some espresso.
You don't know.
You're just getting into it, and you're like, "Fuck, it's gone."
Yeah.
Anywho,
back to the story at hand.
This is not a forum for me ranting about random shit.
Really? All right.
I'm supposed to rant about this.
Yeah, it's true. So. And then a lot of this kind of just accumulates to he's being stalked by Disney or this insidious version or part of Disney, and he's not alone. In fact, this whole story is essentially kind of a collection of stories he's retelling from emails he's got with correspondence of other victims.
And snail mail.
Yeah, and snail mail, which
because someone
surprising.
Doesn't trust the internet, but they'll trust the government organization.
I know, right? So, he doesn't give any names. He just gives,
Until he does give a name.
Until he does give a name at the very end, but we'll get to that. because there is a reason for that. But researcher is this dude who apparently just goes to Disney World or Disneyland all over the year. Doesn't go there to have fun or anything like that, but he goes there to look for the gaskets, which apparently are in.
You're pronouncing that wrong. I think it's gascots.
Oh, gascots.
Kind of like mascots.
Yes.
But...
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just said it wrong. Gascots, and they are essentially people who are wearing like gas masks, but they have like Disney character faces on them. And if you Google gascots or like Disney gas masks, you'll find creepy like World War II gas mask people. And so he's going out there looking for them because people have been like sighting them all like for the last couple of years. And he thinks he finally saw one, but then it just kind of blend into the crowd, and I guess they just take the mask off, or like, because how the hell do you blend into a crowd when you have that mask on? But so he goes searching for it. There seems to be some kind of like supernatural element to it too, because they just appear. Yeah. Then there's a story he gets from Lifeguard, he calls him, about this guy. You worked at Disney Water Park, ran the water slide, and one day a fat kid went down the slide but didn't go out the other end of the tube.
Sliders.
Yeah. Even
Which
though
is hilarious because Jerry O'Connell used to be a fat kid.
Yeah. That's true.
That is a complicated one.
Yeah. Anywho, so this kid like doesn't come out the other end. But the really weird thing is that other kids are going down the tube and they're going out the same way. And like, so this kid isn't getting like pushed out or anything like that. He just vanished for a second. And then he closes down the slide, and no sooner does he close down the slide, the kid comes out the other end and drops into the water like a rock. And they pull him out, and he's blue, and he's got like has this horrible expression on his face, and he's just murmuring like blank kids or like
no-face kids.
The no-face kids.
Stop squeezing.
Yeah.
I guess they like to pinch the fatties.
Yeah. And so they tell him the head ups tell him to open up the slide. He kind of puts up some kind of hullabaloo about it, and then he's like threatened with his job, so he begrudgingly puts it back on and notices that every kid keeps going down, although occasionally there'll be weird ones, like one kid will be misplaced where like on the kid went down first.
They won't necessarily come out in the right order.
The second kid comes out first, and and they have like weird expressions of like what is reality or something like that on them. Like, it's like nothing really daunting. It passes, but it's like just weird expressions on their faces when they exit the tube. So,
which I gotta say, he's at the top of a fucking water slide,
how does he see that, right?
How is he seeing their expressions down below?
Yeah, like is he going like?
I mean. You want to talk... Okay, I mean, this tube is clearly supposed to be breaking the laws of space-time.
But so
is the fucking lifeguard!
Yeah. Yeah, like, I didn't, like...
Like, is he Q?
It just, like, teleports from the top of the slide
to
the bottom.
If so, I got bigger fucking questions to ask, and then, what's happening with these fat kids?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, for some reason, I just, like, envisioned him, like getting it, like, when I first read this, I glanced it over, it's just like, oh, like, he's getting reports from the people down there. But then I just suddenly realized, like, well, what if he's just like, okay, good. Like, climbing
okay,
up.
you could go.
Yeah, climbing down the stairs and then climbing back up once he's verified it. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, it's kind of a slight plot hole.
It's ignored, or, like, it's not explained, because, yeah, it's probably easily explained by the fact that, he's got a walkie-talkie and talks to the guys down at the bottom.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not said.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not what happened, because that's not what it says. Yeah, so in other words...
Yeah.
Anywho. On to Snow White.
No, Snow White, yes. Who is a mascot on the show. And she's not actually the Snow White character in the park. She's a different princess, but for ambiguity. And she tells this guy a really grim story about how, like, sometimes if a mascot, like the person in the mascot, dies of a stroke or something like that, another mascot is supposed to show up and plop them down on a seat and act like they're still alive, to keep face and stuff until a dry cleaner shows up and carts the body away. And I really liked, like, it's really grim and kind of like a dark little, like, realistic thing. And I like his little, like, comment afterwards, like, you're going to go check your album now, aren't you? like of all the time of when you went and got your picture with a mascot. That could be a dead guy kind of thing.
Dun, dun, dun.
I found that really funny in a dark way. And that's and then we move on to the janitor, who talks about the seedy underbelly, literally under Disney World. There's like 3 stories.
Not a belly; it's more of a underground complex, though.
Yeah, 3-story underground complex for utilities and stuff like that. But they also have this other attraction, this dark zone of just like, if you can pay. If you're high class or upper class, you can and pay the money, you can do whatever the hell you want in these underground apartment complexes that are just under the Disney World theme park. And I actually did look it up. They call it Club 22 in this, and they make it really like seedy and dark and gritty. It's actually kind of, I guess the guy took the idea from Club 33, which is actually a thing in the Disney World parks. It's for rich people or for people who can pay like $13,000 or $60,000, and just get into a personal club that's like has a nice restaurant, a bar, and all that stuff, all within the confines of the park. This guy the story just makes this other version of it really sleazy and dark and gritty. And apparently they like burn all the the leftovers of what's gone on, or all the parties and stuff, in an incinerator, and then the smoke kind of just willows out of a cabin in the park. And then we move on to Hammer, who is a construction worker. He does demolition and construction in the parks, and he was assigned a project, but part of it was interfered with by a blank spot or a blank rectangle on the blueprints saying "Do not touch." And it's this in the underground again, like in one of the levels or the sub levels. There's this concrete room with a steel door.
Do not dig.
Yeah, do not dig. And it's just this like shopping mall or shopping center sized
supermarket.
Sorry, supermarket.
You're
sized,
making it sound way bigger.
Yeah, supermarket sized space underground that nobody's allowed to really like touch or anything like that. He tries to ask his higher ups about it, and they like are in the dark, but they are purposefully in the dark. Like, they don't want to know about it. They don't want to know about it at all. Just leave it be.
They asked, and someone said, "Don't ask," and they're all like,
"I don't want."
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So
because clearly they were not protagonist material.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because protagonists
would ask.
Would go like, "Hey, I'm asking." They're all like, "Don't ask." And they're all like, "I'm still asking." And you're all like, "You're a fucking dummy."
Yeah. Well, Hammer is that protagonist, because he, on his off hours, he goes and investigates a little bit. And he, like, nobody really seems to know, because nobody's really old enough to know, or like has been around long enough to know what's going on.
Also, we start seeing Gascot.
Yes, and he starts seeing the Gascots, and they start like he tries to hunt one down. Like, he turns a corner where he saw one turn, and there's nobody there. So, or they'll like be like, or like when he does see them, they're like just that really helped on the fucking recording. They'll like just try and get as flat as possible to a wall to evade him and stuff, or they'll just disappear. So he asks around. Eventually, he encounters or he finds out about Ida, who is this older lady, but she's been around forever in the Disney World, in the Disney park. So he goes and asks her about
Ida's a name.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
So he asks her about the room down there and about the Gascots, and she like trembles, and she like gets this like 1,000-yard stare kind of thing going, and it's just like room 0, and it's like, and so he or she
sorry
yeah so she goes into it, and like about how back in World War II they had these creepy gas mask things. Like, they explain that whole premise, and then back in Cold War,
because it was a bomb shelter.
Yeah, they made a bomb shelter back in the Cold War.
In World War II.
Oh, in the World War II, yeah. To keep or to protect the clientele or the patrons of the park when the bombs dropped. And one day during like the Cold War, or during some time in the past.
Hold on, you're skipping important thing.
Okay.
In back in 1940s,
yeah.
World War II, because they also had gas masks made, and they got a shit ton of gas masks, and the ones that were for children, so that they don't freak their heads off, they were shaped like
Mickey Mouse.
Disney characters, yeah. And then in the Cold War, I guess some asshat decided that, oh, well, they can't see the one they're wearing, so we'll make everyone's.
Adults and children.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, and, like, if you look at the, like, photos of them, because they actually did exist, they're kind of creepy. I mean, it's I could see, like, if a kid doesn't like mascots, they're going to be terrified of these things. So it starts talking about that. Apparently one day, while the park was open, a siren went off as if an air raid was happening. So all the clientele and all the people in the park were assembled down into this bunker. And for 30 minutes, it was all fine and good. And then people started like pinching each other, or kids started running around, and panic started crouching, and then the lights went out, and it was just complete and utter chaos. A couple of the employees and some of the higher ups got out of the room and decided just to face whatever was up on the surface. And what they found was that nothing had happened. It was just a desolate but still intact Disney park. Nothing happened. No bombs were dropped. Nothing. It was just a false alarm kind of thing. So then they go back down to room 0, and there's silence. There's no moans or talks or anything like that from within. Ida goes down the steps at the warnings of her colleagues into that darkness to find out exactly what the hell's going on. Opens the door and hears a bone-chilling, raspy voice behind her or up in front of her. She can't tell because of the darkness and the echoes of this room.
She can tell it's in front of her because she opened the damn door. It's not behind her.
Isn't it? Okay. For some reason,
She can't pinpoint its location, but
it's right in front of her? Okay.
No, she knows it's in the room.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. Yeah.
The room is pitch black.
But she also...
And huge.
So it echoes, and you can't tell whether or not it's right there in front of you or far away.
Well, you can tell it's not right there in front of you, but you can't tell if it's over there or over there or over there.
Yeah, okay. And it effectively says, "Close the door, dear. You're letting the cold out." And she, freaked out, slams the door, and runs back upstairs. And shortly after... Sorry, it's okay. Shortly after, the room is sealed off. The ventilation and the power generators and all that are removed from the top of it, and that's what that space is. That empty space is that he saw. That's not room 0. It's below that section.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And so at this point, the reader is like, even addresses it like, you may be wondering why I've used Ida's name. Well, shortly after this,
she's dead.
Yeah, she was killed shortly, or she died shortly after.
Surrounded by Mickey paraphernalia.
Yeah, surrounded by Mickey paraphernalia, and the silhouettes all in her room, and it looked like she had like a fall or something like that. So that's pretty much where the story ends.
No, that is where the story ends.
No.
Literally.
No, that is where the story ends. It ends on Ida's story, and the little twist of her death and stuff. So I enjoyed the ride of it. I see there are some issues I have with it, but I didn't hate the story. I actually I think I would have actually liked this one if I had read this after I'd gone to Disneyland over Abandoned by Disney, because this actually had something to do with the actual Disney World park.
No, is it World or Land? Because but you keep switching.
I'm pretty sure the one in Florida is Disney World.
Yeah, but you just keep using different word. Like, you keep using either word as though they're interchangeable, and they're not.
They're not, because one's in Hollywood and one's in Florida. Yeah. Well, the story even does like Disneyland and Disney World in a couple of cases.
But it can do that because it's telling several stories.
That's true. So,
just completely derail you.
Yes. Goddamn. But yeah, I enjoyed the story. It's kind of it kind of switches tones every so often. Like, it kind of when I was reading it, it felt like I was reading at one point like a continuation of Abandoned by Disney, or like an aftermath thing, which is cool. But then, like, as he started going through the different stories, it seemed like the tone of it was kind of shifting. Like, it went from I felt like I was almost like reading Goosebumps in certain ones, like the slide one, and such. And then it got really dark, like realistic dark with the mascots, and then it went ghost story-ish with the thing. So like it just kept switching its tone. I liked it. It was like a roller coaster of like different like atmospheres or different levels of creepiness. But
See, that's actually my problem with it. It's not different levels of creepiness, because honestly, I didn't find any of it particularly creepy. I mean, I can understand the creepiness of the Room Zero bit, and I do understand why that is the titular story, but...
I mean, I didn't find the other ones creepy either, but I mean, yeah, that was actually...
An extra-dimensional space in a slide, like, that has no bearing on, like, Ghost Story Gas God.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I think maybe he was trying to go for, like, the guy entered the mascot world or something, but, like, we're not actually told anything aside from the guys, like, the blank kid,
no face kids. I'm sorry, mascots are faces.
Yeah.
Like... You know what I mean?
No, I get you. Yeah, like there are hiccups in the story that I didn't.
Well, that one right there, just like okay, this is gone. Because I mean, even Abandoned by Disney, it wasn't like it was fucked up, but it wasn't full blown. It was more science fiction-y than supernatural portal in a fucking water slide.
Yeah, like
so that one like amps up the believability thing without backing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like just.
It was like he had a bunch of little ideas for like creepy things in Disney,
and didn't decide to put the same amount of effort into any one of them as he did with Abandoned by Disney, and decided to just
compile them into. Well, I think he just wanted to he didn't have the motivation to keep going or to make them into full stories, so he just made them into a compilation of Disney World is terrifying and creepy.
Yeah,
and here's why.
The whole thing just smacks of padding for me. Like
I did notice. I did notice. I did feel a little bit of that with some parts. It was because it doesn't really have a. I mean,
I gotta keep going back to it. The water part, like the water slide one.
Yeah,
it's so out of place because it's so fucking supernatural.
Yeah,
like it's so just out of left field. Yeah, there's a fucking disruption in space and time in the middle of this fucking water slide. All right, that's weird.
Yeah.
Where the next one is about fucking dead bodies being posed as live bodies.
Yeah, no, I get. I mean, I understand where he's he has this wraparound where he's
should have just been out of there. It shouldn't have been involved,
or should have been another story.
No, it shouldn't have been involved in this compilation at all because it's so fucking left field. There's a fucking disruption in space time.
Yeah.
In a fucking water slide, and then we're gonna go talk to Snow White about posing dead bodies as
it went from
hold on
yeah.
I'm not done with this disruption in space time.
Yeah, exactly, and it's taking people and then bringing them back.
Let's get the scientists out here. I got a white lab coat. I will check this shit out.
Yeah, no, I understand why he put it. I can understand why he might have put it in there, as in he got a bunch of email correspondence. Here's what.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
I know. It doesn't fit it doesn't fit the flow because it's suddenly supernatural to the extreme, and then back to realism. What? It doesn't. It kind of just it's a bump in a major bump in the road of the story because it kind of comes out of left field, like you said. But I understand why he threw it in because he's trying to emulate getting a bunch of correspondence of various different events and peoples in Disney World's
Yeah, but I mean, he made them all up.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Anyone should have been able to spot that that's out of place.
Yeah.
Including the guy who wrote it. And he should have been whoa, that kind of ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
I should take it out and, either just leave it out or replace it with something else.
Yeah. Maybe tone it down with something a little bit more.
And he, completely tries to play it off as, this minor event, obviously.
Yeah, he moves forward with another story.
But he doesn't understand the ramifications
of a portal. In a slide.
Yeah, kids come out of the slide in different orders. It's there's a different bucket.
Yeah.
There's a portal to some sort of possibly pocket or alternate dimension, and weird shit happens there, and then they're just ejected.
Yeah.
That is not a little event.
No, that is that's a story. Like, I would want to see the rest of that story, or like I would want to see an investigation go into that.
That is a fucking thing that needs to be.
It's a plot point,
like,
or it's a hook for another story, for an investigation or something like that. Yeah, I understand what you're going for that. It's like it also didn't fit any the Gascot. Like we had Gascots, mascots, and this seedy underworld under Disney. And then we had Room Zero story by Ida. So those all connected. The only one that these things are not. One of these things is not like the other. Is the slide story. That slide story really has no connection aside from maybe
characters.
Well, it talks about like the mascot stuff. It's not. It may be padding.
It doesn't talk about the mascot. Yeah, it talks about like princesses and like people. It doesn't talk. It talks about mascots, not Gascots.
No, yeah, I'm just saying like
that's
it's another. It's connected to the actual park though, but it's a little bit more connected than say the slide.
I'd say it's just as removed, but at least it's on the same level as all of the other shit.
Yeah, because everything else seems to be on
it's
this
not
darker,
on the
gritty...
crazy, holy shit, there is at the very least, a pocket dimension that fucking little kids are going to.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, no, like, it's...
You know? Yeah. That's a completely different level, and, yeah, just batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the Snow White story fits at least, but it's unrelated.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with that because
it
doesn't have a shift in tone where it's like
like everything else was.
Booah!
Yeah, okay, sorry, not like different tiers of it, but like there's every single one except for the slide had a same like kind of like it was on the same level, on the same wavelength, all across the board for the most part, except for that slide. So
yeah, like okay. Here's how I'm gonna put it. All of the other stories are kind of like Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I don't know if you ever saw that show. It was a good show. But it was all fairly like mundane shit. I don't recall off the top of my head any like ridiculously supernatural episodes. Yeah. And then the water slide is like the Outer Limits.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, if there was a marathon of Hitchcock Presents, and then halfway through it...
Just randomly in the middle, the Outer Limits, please stand by. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? There's suddenly a story about... But they kept, like, the Alfred Hitchcock fucking intro shit.
Yeah.
And it's just an episode about a war on an alien planet. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
It just seems out of place.
Yeah. You know, I bet that's probably why because I remember I was reading this, I did enjoy it, but there were, like, little bits I was like, huh... Like, just...
Points where it just kind of makes you scratch your head.
Yeah, exactly. Or, like, yeah. It's like, okay, that's... Okay. Okay, so that's probably why I was thinking... What I was thinking then. I don't know, like, it...
Like, I can, like, yeah. Ghost stories and posing with dead people and, you know, this overarching conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I can deal with all that. Except for the coffee cup.
God damn the coffee cup.
Kind of monster has a very nice coffee.
Don't come to my house, apparently. Anyway, writing wasn't too bad for the story, though.
It's adequate. I mean, there are no glaring mistakes. It clearly got edited, which kind of makes the whole water slide thing all the more annoying.
Yeah,
because it's like, okay, someone read this several times
and decided that wasn't a problem.
Yeah, they never saw the problem in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as a follow-up to
Abandoned by Disney,
I'm not a big fan of this.
Mm-hmm. I did kind of want...
just because it was so different. Like, it's got this conspiracy theory, like, you know, okay, so Disney knows you went to Mowgli's palace.
Well, he does mention at the beginning, actually, that I didn't throw in the rundown, but yeah, he's like,
because
everybody started copying and pasting his original story.
Yeah, but I just, you know, why are they after?
I was interested in the fact that it was like a cover-up thing or like an aftermath thing of the events that happened in the first one. It's kind of like any sequel to a movie or to a horror movie, like that where the monster or the thing or whatever gets exposed and and then it's being dealt with in the next installment.
Yeah,
but the ending to also that's the other thing that I have a gripe with the ending actually is that it just ends on the ghost story, but doesn't follow up with what's happening to him. Like, it had this wraparound at the beginning, like, oh, we got these email correspondence, this is what they were kind of about, and then it just ends after the last story as if, like, he forgot about the fact that he was writing this because he was keeping an update on people.
Yeah,
it
kind of ties in because, when Ida's found dead, there's all of this Disney shit.
And he's finding all this Disney stuff, yeah.
And he's finding, but there is no, like, connection drawn.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, sorry, the reader can draw a connection, but there isn't, like, there isn't an ending to his story. There's an ending to Ida's.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can assume that they're eventually going to kill him, but that just kind of raises the question of why didn't they just kill him?
Yeah.
Because it's fucking Disney. Like, if I could believe that a company could just fucking kill a guy...
It would be Disney.
Yeah, like...
It would be the happiest place on earth, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, they seem like the kind of people that if they wanted to rub you out, they would just rub you out, because they could do it.
Yeah.
I just...
And that's where he's getting at.
I kind of don't believe that they would, play with you like a cat with a ball of string. Like...
Yeah, he's trying to make it seem more Maleficent.
There's no profit in that. They're not one of the villains in their movies. They're
a corporation.
Yeah, they're bottom line people.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is if they're gonna kill you, there's no point in fucking around with you.
Yeah. Or giving you more fodder to post on the internet and reveal their conspiracy. Like that was the other thing I was thinking is like he has all this kind of like information. Why why would you like just spill it out onto a creepypasta forum or something like that? Like I'd be like, I don't know. It just seemed like for like wanting to stay secret and wanting to stay like alive. One of the employers or employees of Disney mailed you an actual like printed or like written like piece of like literature or story, and sent it to your house. They have your address, or somebody who's connected to them has your address.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, they're leaving shit all over the place, right? Yeah. Like, they clearly know who the fuck he is and where he goes and they're trailing and him. Where he's going to go to find shit. Either they just leave it all over and just wait for him to find some.
Yeah, just wait for him to go insane.
But, like, okay, like, if the end game is to silence you and shut you up,
they're
not going to play games with you.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you an opportunity to post Room Zero. They're just going to, off you. And it's going to look like an accident, or it's going to look like nothing at all, like you never even existed.
Yeah.
So, I find as a conspiracy theory story, it just kind of fucking way too many holes in it.
Yeah, but then again, that's a lot of conspiracy theories. A lot of amateur ones.
Yeah, but, like, he didn't have to go that.
No, yeah.
He didn't have to do this, compilation episode either. He could have just gone with, like, another persona? Like another version of Abandoned by Disney where it's, like, one story and it's, like, really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah, because, with the exception of the dead mascot thing, because that could be... That kind of ends... as fast, or as pretty much, like, the story finishes up the story of that pretty quickly. Like, there's nothing really you can go forward with that. Aside from, like, somebody's knocking off, it's not actually them dying, like, of natural causes or something like that. But that's needless. So, like, that's actually the only one that's actually, like a standalone, complete in the story itself. The other ones, I feel, could actually be fleshed out and worked upon, yeah. And, like, I want to see, like, one for the slide, or one for, like, maybe not Ida, because the Ida one, like, is the main focus of this.
Yeah, and you pretty much get the whole story front to back. I mean, it could be padded, but there's really no fucking point for it.
Yeah. The thing that's the voice and stuff that in the bunker that Ida encounters, I felt was also pretty. Like, it left me wanting to know about it, but
and then
I was also
like within a week, it's fucking sealed under feet of concrete. Yeah. So I guess we're not going to hear from that again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like it doesn't really have to be explained because it's obviously something supernatural. It's under Disney.
But at the same time, I kind of wanted to know about it.
Well, yeah, because I was like, I'm
assuming it's just the last person alive out of the fucking room of, like, the park full of people
that were crammed into this.
And it's just like, you let the code out. And, like, just awesomely creepy, and then, they just kind of seal it, and it's like, aw, I kind of want to hear from you again.
Yeah.
It's like, great, you're going to run out of air way before you run out of food.
That's true, because they took away all the ventilation and stuff and just poured concrete over.
And there's dead bodies all over the place.
Yeah.
Also, okay, even Disney couldn't cover up
an entire
park's
I know.
worth of people just fucking disappearing.
Yeah.
I don't care if only 5 people know this story. There are going to be a shit ton of friends and family asking where these people are.
Yeah. All the cars that are in the parking lot. I've been to Disney World
big ass
recently.
fucking parking lot.
They have it. They literally have it miles, almost miles of just endless parking lot that are separated in not just alphabetical and numbers, but in characters of Disney movies. And you need a bus to get to certain parts of it. You literally need to get onto a bus to drive to a section where your car is actually situated in. So, yeah, they have to clear out that entire parking lot of now unused cars.
Yeah, that's...
It's shortly after the events of this thing, it's and in other news, the car market has skyrocketed as Disney takes the lead. They just resell all the cars. Just there are that is actually a pretty major plot hole in Disney's design, if that was what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean,
with a smaller park, I could see it maybe. If it was a small park that was owned by a larger company or something like that. But with Disney World, which is where it is, even in the Cold War period, is a big fucking park.
It's fucking Disney World. That bitch is gonna be packed.
It is. Yeah,
and because it's staff too, and the sheer number of staff that I'm sure they've got there at any given time is probably ridiculous.
Yeah. That's it's just it's funny to think about because it's wait, yeah.
So I
mean, I still enjoyed it, but we definitely
but once you thought about you think about that, you're just kind of you know what? That's a little
you're
asking a little much of my suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. As we've just shown. I mean, that said, I'd still recommend it because if you liked, I'm assuming that people who are reading this would or who are also ones who liked Abandoned by Disney. It's not connected 100% to it. It's more of an indirect thing that just it's connected only with the main character who survived from.
If you didn't read Abandoned by Disney, you can still read Room Zero.
Yeah,
but if you've read Abandoned by Disney, you'll get a little more out of it.
Yeah, and actually, honestly, I think I would have preferred to read this before going to after going to Walt Disney World because Abandoned by Disney. It was Mowgli. It was a completely separate park. This one actually has connections to the actual park that you usually go to. So it's kind of gives you next time you're going to go there after reading this, you're maybe not, but just have a twinge of that story. Just look around, look for that cabin that has the smokestack.
Smell the depravity.
Yeah, smell human sin. So gritty. Or you'll be looking for that one person out there that's wearing a gas mask with Mickey Mouse's face on it. But anyway, I would recommend this one. So
yeah, I begrudgingly recommend it. I mean, it's got more holes than my Sunday socks because they're holes.
Wow.
But it was a pretty innocent read. I don't know, maybe I'm getting soft in my old age.
Yeah. 42 episodes in.
Yeah, remember how angry I was in episode 1 and 2?
Oh, I know.
It's this one doesn't insult your intelligence. I mean, it's got stupid mistakes that if you think about, are really
major plot
really
points,
stupid
plot holes.
But I don't feel like I'm being asked to ignore them.
No,
I feel like no one thought of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Yeah.
It was a fun read, so, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it, but I can see the appeal to it. Yeah. If only because this one actually goes into the parks, as opposed to, making up this fake park and going into that. Yeah.
And again, it's another one of it's actually the same kind of situation with, this one was obviously created after looking at something kind of creepy or nightmare fuel-ish from Disney. Like, the first one, Abandoned by Disney, was the guy, or I'm assuming Slimeby saw the pictures and the articles about Treasure Island, which was a defunct park in the Caribbean that actually existed, supposedly. But it's actually, it's out there, like, so he got the inspiration for that from there, and just made up his own park that was defunct. In this one, he probably saw the gas masks, the creepy gas masks from World War II, and it's like, hey, that was really creepy. I bet I can make a creepy story with it, and then had a couple of other ideas surrounding Disney and made this. So
yeah, and I think that I do genuinely believe that this would have been a better story if he had have just focused more
on the Gascots.
Well, just picked any one of these and focused more.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, like,
as opposed to having all of these stories kind of half-assed told. I just think that more for.
Expand on these separate stories. Like, I want to know more about them a little bit.
And I mean, I'm not opposed to compilation things. I love Trick or Treat. That was a fucking amazing, nice little Halloween movie. But
the problem is this one's also really short. For what it's trying to get across. Like, we could have had a couple more paragraphs for each story, maybe except for the dead body one, and maybe even a full story for the slide. But,
well, I honestly think that any one of these, except for, the dead mascots, should have been enough to have a full story where you get into it a little bit more. Whereas this, as soon as you test the waters, you're moving on. Yeah. And, how are you ever going to find the right bath if you just test all the waters and never get in? Yeah. And... just trying to do too many stories, that kind of worked against this one, in my opinion. Okay. So although I still recommend it, there is a lot of room for improvement.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, and that's one of the things, like, I enjoyed it, but again, it left me kind of wanting things. Like, I wanted more from it. I know a lot of the comments on the wiki page are saying, it's like, can't wait for a sequel, or, like, that kind of, the same kind of mentality that we've been mentioning, is that it just wants... They want more.
Well, no, I don't, I'm not necessarily looking forward to a sequel. I just wish that this one had more body to it. Yeah. As opposed to just little snippets. Little anecdotes. I would have preferred a story over anecdotes.
Yeah. All right. So, I think that pretty well covers our feelings about Room Zero. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So, if you want to get a hold of us, we are at Review Cultist or Dr. Leviathan on Twitter. We have a Tumblr site which has some interesting, or if not silly, title cards for each episode. We are on Kiwi6 and iTunes and YouTube, so go check those out at Dente Rigamortis, and on Facebook. So you can also send us an email at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com, where you can send us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. So until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
And I'm still Dr. Leviathan.
And until next time, when you wish upon a star, sleep well.
I think I just found next week's.
Oh, yeah?
The Physics of Madness. Physics of Madness. Physics of Madness. Physics of Madness. Physics of Madness.